What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk and welcome to the preview for the game between Manchester United and Sheffield United at Bramell Lane. I think it's Bramell Lane, I'm not entirely sure. United play a team tomorrow night who are bottom of the table. They haven't won a single game so far. They've conceded 22 goals and they've only scored 6 in 8
Yeah,
games, which automatically means, Shreyas, that United are going to put this up, aren't they?
yeah, yeah. It has the perfect setting for United to actually drop points and actually, let Sheffield have their first win of the season. United once again, the players are surely coming back from very good international breaks. Players like Rashford, players like Bruno, you know, players who haven't really been performing that well for United, but they have been performing well for their national teams. So maybe that confidence can come in and they can perform well for the club as well. Secondly, I think with Sheffield, they're a team which have showed like no spark at all this season. Like they got absolutely destroyed by Newcastle, conceding 8 goals. Haven't looked at the races at all this season, and for sure, like if I have to evaluate all the teams, I would say Sheffield is one of the teams that will surely go down to the championship this season. Like there is no doubt about it. So in on any other given day, you would say that United, just take the 3 points, comfortable 3-0 or 4-0 win. But judging how we are playing, in the past few fixtures, especially with the confidence of these players and certain ways that these players conduct themselves on the pitch as well, you just never know what can happen, against United. So overall, I would feel much confident because if you would say that if we are coming up against any other team in the league, I would be much more scared. But I think with Sheffield, I'm still a bit composed that we can still hang on and get the 3 points against them.
Yeah, in a weird way, it almost feels like Sheffield had the perfect cocktail if they was to play Manchester United. The weather's a
Yeah,
little bit uncertain at the moment. They're at home. It's after an international break.
yeah,
Players coming back from injury, etc., etc. And just on the international break, it feels like a month, done it? Like since we've had our last game against Brentford, and luckily for us, if McTominay hadn't scored them 2 goals in the last couple of minutes, then it would have been a much different international break. You
yeah.
would have heard reports about Eric Ten Hag will he keep his job and all this kind of stuff. So luckily, we didn't have to end it on a loss like the last one to Arsenal. And the positive news is we have players back from injury, Region, Mainu, Amrabat as well. So it'll be nice to have actual players in their position. But just on the game in general, what are you personally expecting from it? Will it be cagey? Will it be tight? How do you see it playing out?
I think it will be scrappy from United as well because I think especially when you come up against these sort of teams, our passing just goes to shit. Like every single time we go up
Yeah.
against these sort of teams. So I expect a scrappy game. I expect mistakes from both ends, to be very honest with you. But I still think that even though we might not be playing our best football, we will still be able to come out with a win. One thing that I do need to see is how we play against Sheffield United. Are we going to be playing on the back foot? Will we be looking to express ourselves more? When the match actually kicks off, it's going to be interesting to see how Ten Hag lines up and at the same time how he makes this team play. Because up until now, we've probably seen changes every single 3 games in the type of football that we play. So I really want to see that what kind of football we will be playing against a team like Sheffield, and I just want to see us building on that type of football consistently. Like I want us to have an identity and build on it game after game after game, even if it means that we lose in a couple of games. But overall, in the longer run, it will definitely help us because for
Yeah.
any team you need to have an identity. Because if you're coming up against a team like a Sheffield or any other team, when they look at you, they need to be seeing they play expansive football, they play high energy football, they play this. Right now United don't have that. We've been chopping and changing, we've been modifying a lot, so we need something to actually build up upon, and probably it can be the Sheffield game.
Yeah, just some stability and consistency in it, I think is all we're asking for. And I think players will be asking for a similar thing in terms of a consistent run in the team. In regards to, there's been players, the big players in our team, like Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Casemiro, excuse me, who have all been out of form. So, with that in mind, what players do you think deserve an opportunity going into this?
I think Casemiro is out, so it means Amrabat will surely be there. I think Mount and
Yeah.
Bruno will once again be brought into the mix. I still have a sneaky feeling if Kobe Menu is available, if he is fit enough, probably we might be seeing Kobe Menu being involved in this game as well because he is a player who is integral to Ten Hag's plans this season. We saw it during the course of preseason, and probably, when he comes back, he'll be integrated and probably used a lot more. I think Regulon coming back will be a big boost as well. So
That's the biggest one, isn't it?
yeah, I think having that natural left back,
Oh,
it will definitely help us because we've just not had natural fullbacks in that left back position,
yeah,
and it has been costing us a lot. So Regulon coming back is a big boost. Mount and Bruno going to be there alongside Amrabat. Maybe we see a different version of that midfield because it will be the first time we see that. On another hand, Hoyland will be there. Probably gets his
hmm
first goal in the Prem as well. He's been ripping it apart, I would say, in the Champions League, but still not gotten that Prem goal. And hopefully, he can get that against this Sheffield side who have really not been at the races. Rashford and Bruno are going to be two players who I would say, might be dropped or might not be played. But I do know from, where Ten Hag comes from, I still think that he'll play both of them. It is, I just feel really sad that we don't get to see the version of Bruno that plays for Portugal for Manchester United because
exactly.
if you
Yeah,
look, if you look at him for that, in that Portugal lineup, he looks like one of, like the best midfielder in the world when he's playing for Portugal. He can cross the ball in, he can make those passes. He actually, is able to retain the ball a lot more as well in that Portugal lineup. Like we say that, Bruno is a player who needs to be doing stuff really, really fast. In that Portugal lineup, I don't see that. I think he retains the ball a lot
measured in
more.
it.
Yeah, he scans a lot
Mm.
more in comparison to how much he scans for United. So I just hope that he's able to bring that version of Bruno from the Portugal team to the United uh, squad as well. Because if he does that, it will help out us and as well as Hoyland a lot more as well. Rashford is someone who I think is going to be a big controversial topic for this game. He did get a goal against Italy, I think, during the course of international break, but has he done enough that it warrants a start against Sheffield, or will Garnacho finally be handed the reins of the start on that left wing position? Because personally, I would start Garnacho any time of the week. If I have to judge the performance of players right now, I think Garnacho warrants a start, but I think
Yeah.
he will play Rashford because once again, Rashford does need his confidence to be back up. If he starts, probably gets a goal against Sheffield, it will help him a lot. So I expect Rashford to start, but personally, I would want Garnacho to actually get the start in this one.
Yeah, well, we can kind of hope that they bring that international form into it, innit? Because
Yeah,
quite a few of them have had decent games for the respective nationalities, and I think this next run of games now, you've got Sheffield, Copenhagen, and then the Manchester derby. So Casemiro won't be back until obviously Manchester derby
yeah.
because he misses Copenhagen as well because of the suspension. How important are these next run of games now to get that motivation, to get that cog kind of moving, the confidence? Because you don't want another slapping off City, do you?
No, no, no. I think this season, I do know that at one point we'll be seeing that score line of a 5 or a 6 nil. I just have that feeling in my heart that says that it will happen eventually. Like, if not now,
Yeah,
sometime it will happen. Maybe it happens against City, but personally, I just want us to actually, move past that stage where United can be seen as a club that can concede those amount of goals. Because even under Oli, barring that season when Ronaldo and, Sancho and others came in, we did have very, very poor seasons, but it never came to a point where we were conceding 6 or 7 goals against teams like Liverpool and City. So I think we need to move past from this. In a certain way, I see Casemiro not playing the next two fixtures in a positive way because it means that during the Manchester derby, he'll be one of the most freshest players in our lineup, and having a Casemiro who is going to be at full energy and full fitness might actually help us sneak away some points against City. On the other hand, with certain other players, I think it's important that they play the next games, including Bruno Fernandes, including Marcus Rashford, Amrabat as well, and Mason Mount, Anthony and Hoyland. All of them, they need a run of games. They need to get that consistency, and if perhaps we are able to get good results against Copenhagen, against Sheffield as well, it can build that confidence up. Maybe with that momentum, we go into the Manchester derby. We see a better version of United playing against Manchester City because City haven't really looked that great this season as well since the season has started.
yeah.
The new signings that they made, they've been a little shaky. Kovacic not being able to replace the boots of Ilkay
Well,
Gundogan.
having to play the Rodri role, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's
Effectively.
not been able to
Yeah.
do that. Jeremy Doku not actually able to fit in the shoes of Riyad Mahrez. So they've got some new players, no doubt they're very talented, but it will still take them time to get to that level where they were because they've lost some world class players in that lineup. Um, Maybe United are able to exploit that. So I still think that this Manchester derby might be winnable, but it will actually come down on how we perform against these sort of teams. If we go in
Exactly.
with
Yeah.
2 wins, hot momentum, players actually high on confidence, scoring a lot of goals, defense not leaking goals, and on top of that, I think the most important thing is if Onana is able to regain his old self of Inter Milan, if
Yeah.
we are able to see that, I don't think that we'll be conceding a lot of goals. So I think out of all these players, the most important one is going to be Andre Onana.
I think it's fair to say the first quarter of the season's done now. It's been pretty shit when we reflect on it. I think
Yeah.
we've had 6 wins out of 11 or something like that. So just put that aside now and make sure this next quarter, especially going into the Christmas period where it's really, really busy, to start getting some wins on the board.
Yeah.
If you draw against your Cities and your Arsenals, then it's fine. It's acceptable at this point. But these other teams like Sheffield and Copenhagen, you have to be beating. And just let's take a quick look at the opposition in Sheffield. Not much to say about them. We know their situation, bottom of the table, conceded shitloads of goals. Probably going to be relegated this season, I think most people would say. But like I said, that's the exact reason why they would turn up, because United are in
Exactly.
town. Gives them something, that extra little bit of motivation. And I think one thing that Sheffield fans might actually cling on to is the fact that last time we played them, they beat us at Old Trafford under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They beat us 2-1. So these teams show up when United are in town, don't they, Shreyas?
Yeah, they definitely do. And Sheffield is a team that has done it in the past. Even when they've had like very horrendous seasons, they have managed to nick points away from Manchester United. And if I have to look into that team, it's a very below average team. Like I would say that this team might actually even struggle in the championship right now with the teams that are there in the championship. So I think the only player in that team who I would say could do, a good performance against us, maybe Hamer, maybe Souza from Brazil, who they've got in that midfield as well. They are the only two people who I would say might turn up against United, because if I have to take those two out and then evaluate it, they've practically got nothing. Like pound for pound, if I have to look player for player, we've got a squad that is miles above Sheffield United. But I still believe, even though we have that, we might still be in for a very hard game against Sheffield. I think it just depends on how these players actually play. It depends how they turn up.
They're going to look to frustrate us. That's 100%. Because they know, if you look at our first 7, 8, 9, whatever games, they know that we struggle to convert chances even when we create them. So they'll just think, if we can frustrate them for 70 minutes, 80 minutes, and nick one on the counter attack or nick one from a set piece, which teams have done against us before, then we get 3 points and we go home happy. Whereas United, they're going to look at it saying, well, we didn't take our chances, we didn't do this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Not to mention just that as well, away from home, we're shit. We're absolutely shit. Our away form is like relegation, I think, or like 14th in the league in terms of amount of away wins. Why do you think that is specifically? Is it a mentality thing? Is it like what do you think it is?
I think if I have to evaluate on the basis of last season, I think it has to be the lack of toughness in this team. I think there are certain tough players, but there aren't enough in this team who can actually be doing that, because I think the best result that we've had last season going away was Barcelona. Like at the Camp Nou, we turned up. We played very well.
Good game.
We played a very, very good game of football against Barcelona. But after that, it's just been a downfall. Maybe it has to do with losing Lisandro Martinez in the second half of the season, losing that sort of tough-minded player who can come in, solidify the back line. Even if you go a goal down, there are players who can, just reintegrate that energy and make you go on for the entire 90 minutes. But we just not had that. And if I have to go by this season, I think even whether it's home, whether it's away, United is as vulnerable right now. It doesn't matter if you're playing at Old Trafford or away from Old Trafford. The players are just not at it when it comes to, it happens when you get, and it happens, it has happened with the best of teams as well. They're playing like very good football. They're not able to convert. They concede a goal, but then you see them scoring 3 off the back of that and winning the game 3-1. That's the thing that we are missing right now, and that's where players like Bruno Fernandes come in, because he's the captain and he needs to lead the charge, especially when you're goal down against teams like Sheffield. You need to be doing better.
Yeah, if we lose this game tomorrow, it's no excuse whatsoever, because the players that you've got on the pitch, Sheffield would fucking kill to have a player like Bruno or Rashford or anyone like that. Because that could be the difference between them staying up, quite literally, getting goals and stuff. So, yeah, no excuse for me tomorrow. We need to put them to the sword, and convincingly as well. Like, let's get a 2-0 or a 3-0. But we'll get into score predictions very shortly. I want to do some quick fire questions. Tomorrow night, Man United versus Sheffield United in the Premier League. Will both teams score?
No.
Will Harry Maguire start?
Yeah.
One surprise selection.
Surprise Mason Mount.
Okay. Any red cards or VAR decisions or anything dodgy?
VAR decisions for sure against us. 1000%.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Every single game.
And who is your prediction for man of the match? Who do you think will have a good game tomorrow?
Hoyland.
Rasmus. I knew he was going to say Hoyland, and I
Yeah.
had a feeling.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's time for him to score now as well. Maybe get a couple onto the score sheet.
Yeah.
Clean sheet. We want a clean sheet. 2 or 3 goals. We go home happy.
Yeah.
What we want, whether that happens or not, is a completely different conversation. Have the predicted 11s are up on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Double check.
Yeah. They're on the right hand side.
Right.
Already.
Let's dive into that predicted 11. We won't, like we mentioned before off the camera, we've only got one change between each other. So I'll just dive into mine and why I've gone with it. And then we'll talk about the reason why you swapped that individual player out, Shreyas. Nana, because you know what Tenag's like. He just doesn't, He doesn't drop players when we think he should. It's been a break. He's had time to think on it. I think he comes back in. Diego Dalot, Varane, Maguire and Reguilon comes in because Reguilon's been in training, so has Varane. And I think Maguire's been the better of in the past couple of weeks in terms of form. So I think and I'm thinking about set pieces as well and free kicks and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they'll go in there. Amrabat, Mount and Bruno, because Casemiro isn't available. Amrabat's the only one who can do that job. And then at the same, Mount's a new signing, Bruno's the captain. And then I think Anthony, Hoyland and Rashford up top. I want them 3 to start clicking now. Start getting that pattern of play, start getting used to each other, because we haven't seen it at all. So I really, really want to see that. And I think that team should put Sheffield to the sword 100%. But what change did you make and why?
I just had Maguire out for Lindelof. The only change, I think, except that this team that you put out that will be the one starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And just hope, like you said, that the front 3 needs to start clicking. I need to see more of Bruno and Rasmus actually clicking. Bruno providing those balls for Rasmus, because once Bruno and Rasmus are they're in perfect coordination, we'll be seeing a lot more chances getting converted.
Yeah, 100%. Score predictions. What do you think? Are we going to be, because the past couple of weeks, I was going to say, you've been a little bit shaky.
Against Sheffield, we should. We've got a manager. Yeah. We've got a manager who knows how to break these low block teams down. We've done it pretty well last season. Not been doing that as great this season, but I think against Sheffield we should be getting a comfortable 2-0.
Yeah. Who scores for you, do you think, tomorrow?
Hoyland scores and Mason Mount gets his first.
Okay. He needs it as well. He needs a goal, doesn't he?
He's been really unlucky. Like in so many games, he's been really unlucky. He's been so near to scoring, but just not been there.
Well, for the first time in Real Red Talk history, we have got the exact same score prediction and the exact same goal scorer.
Yeah.
I've literally got it written on the screen, a score prediction, just so I didn't forget it. Yeah, 2-0 Mount and Rasmus. So if that happens, then we've put something into the earth and it's come back at us. So let's hope Manchester United get the job done tomorrow night away at Sheffield. Tough, grimy game. It's going to be back and forth. But let's hope it's more comfortable than a lot of people are anticipating. Let us know your score predictions and your team lineups in the comments section. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also have a lovely weekend as well. Me and Shreyas will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.